Hey guys, it's Robert Gardner with the Robert Gardner Wellness Podcast. I've got Michelle Ratz McGuire back with me again to discuss whatever it is we care to discuss. I suspect we'll get into marketing for next level pain relief and the stuff that we're doing that's mat based with suspension. Michelle, can you tell everybody where to find you on social media?
Sure. I'm rmt.michelle on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And my website is rmtmichelle.com.
Man, all your socials actually match.
Yeah.
Mine don't. And then can you tell everybody just a little bit about yourself and like where you're from, where you live?
Sure. I'm Michelle, and I've been a massage therapist for 14 years in July. I live in Ontario, Canada, about an hour outside of Toronto. I've been doing traditional massage for, I don't know, until about 2 years ago. And then last year, I completely switched over to the next level pain relief and mat-based stuff. And that's all I do exclusively now.
Oh man, there's so much. There's so much to go over and discuss. I wonder about this all the time, and I get mixed feedback because I talk with students, I talk with clients, I talk with the public at large. Like I get mixed feedback from different audiences. Mm-hmm. And what was the feedback from clients as you started to go towards mat-based work? Like what was that process like, and what was the feedback you were getting from clients as you started to go that direction?
So it was mixed to begin with, because I was doing mixed treatments, right? So I was doing table-based work that was more traditional, like oily and, nakedness and all that kind of stuff. And then I was, throwing people into the mat, people that were like more of my regulars that I've been with for a couple of years. So initially the feedback was, there were some people who just wanted a massage, and that was fine. I mean, at that point, I was just like, well, I think this is the route that I'm going. So, if you need me to refer you somewhere else. But the people who were really into the mat, or who just were really into me as their therapist, it was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, I can't even go back to regular massage after this. So, and those people tended to be more the people who were coming in for a problem, pain relief, just chronic aches, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's so strange. We've had more conversations in the business recently because there's a sales problem on two sides. So mm-hmm. if you have an app like Soothe or Zeal, you have to find customers who want to use the app to connect with the therapist, and then you have to find therapists to use the app to get customers. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're selling to two audiences.
Yeah, yeah.
When I first started years ago and I was teaching classes, the students were like, no, but my clients want massage. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's what you've been selling them.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't request a service they don't have any knowledge of.
Exactly.
And the only way you solve the problem on that end is you do lots of in-person events, or you run some sort of ads or something in between. Yeah. And it's like, oh, but that's so time consuming. And I'm like, changing the world takes time.
Yes.
I mean, yes. I wish there were a simpler, easier way, but until there's a certain level of market saturation, it just doesn't work any other way. Like there's no... Yeah. Like I talked to Kristen, and it's super interesting because I notice what's happening with Kristen as she teaches is it's super, super strange to me. Like I can see her consciousness being shaped by her mm-hmm. experiences. Mm-hmm. And she works with me often enough for, 5 or 6 years where it's like, this is her bread and butter. She's swimming in it every day. Mm-hmm. And then when she talks to therapists, she's like, oh, they can't just go do the work at a place. Like they don't let them. And I'm like, to me, that's so obvious, but it's like she can only deal with it. Like if there's a full spectrum, she can only deal with small spectrums at a time. to like add to her thought process. She's like, but it's so great. Why aren't they? And I'm like, if the public tomorrow called every massage therapist in the United States and says, I want the mat, I want the mat, I want the mat, how long would it take for my business to just explode because everybody would be forced, in a sense, to deliver the mat service that the public is asking for?
Oh, it would take like no time. Yeah.
But it's like I don't feel defeated, but I do know at 47 years old, I fully plan that I will keep working on this until I'm dead. And hopefully just before I die, it'll start to take off. That's the level of like not having market saturation that we have. Like we represent 0.01% of the massage marketplace. And for me to say, well, this is a better service for pain management, that is heretical in a table-based massage industry. They're like, you can't say, and I'm like, you don't know. Yeah. You should come get a session. Like the feedback, and this is the duality of it. Remember, there's two markets. There's a public and the therapist. The public keeps going, dude, I don't understand. This shit is amazing. Why isn't this shit everywhere? This solves the problem. And I'm like,
Do you know how hard it is to find someone here? I'm not even like I have someone who does traditional Thai massage, and that's great, but it's not the same as what like next level pain relief is. But it's close. So that's usually where I go. But my therapist has been busy, so I haven't been able to get in. I want a 2-hour session, at minimum 2-hour session. And do you know how hard it is to find any massage therapist that does more than 90 minutes even just on the table? Like, it's like impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah, I think at a quick glance, it's kind of like if I'm putting out information online and trying to help therapists understand what I'm doing and why I think it's important for the industry, I think they're just, well, he's a massage therapist who is an educator, like his practice is the same, right? And I'm like, I don't own a table. And they're like, what? Like, that's not nothing. There's nothing other than mat work. One, that's weird. If you start adding layers and you add suspension and abdominal work in 3 hours, and there's no softened lighting and it's not incense and candles, and they're like, dude, but that's where we get to that point where I start to hear the murmurs that it's not massage. It's super interesting to look at because the conversation I'll have with Kristen is, do people want what we're selling? And she's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, Kristen, people don't even know what we're selling. Exactly. They can't want something they don't know about. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, Kristen, the public doesn't know this stuff exists on statistically. Yeah, we know there's a couple clients or whatever in our practices. And, we know there's a handful of students, who are working with us. But it's like that's such a small sliver of the marketplace. That's why in our subscribers group, everybody's like, do you know anybody here? 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 And the answer is no, because we're only getting like 2 therapists a state. And then is it a side gig where they're just kind of maybe playing with the mat, picking up a client here and there? It's like there's no real saturation. You have to deliver social proof where there's hundreds of therapists winning, doing this stuff that's different. There's millions of videos floating around. Then it takes off. But until it's like, it's just work. It's like, it's another class, another promotion, another event, another video. I don't have any doubt that it's effective, but effective alone in body work doesn't mean business success. Like, I think most of my success mostly has been my ability to be completely ornery and stubborn and then steadfast. I go, well, that's going to be really hard. That's like training for the Olympics. And I'm like, I got 20 years. It's cool. We'll just work at it. That's not something that a fledgling therapist who just got out of school wants. They don't, they're like, listen, I just went $10,000 in debt to go to massage school. I don't have time to, God. even if they like the body work, these are the students, even if they like the body work, they realize very quickly, oh, I have a business problem.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
How do you
That's the
sell
big
this?
problem.
How do you sell this crazy thing? And I've got a million ideas, but it's like I can't light a fire under the therapist who lives in Omaha. Like you just like I start to say things and it waxes philosophical. I'm like, just open up your studio and heart and help people. Oh, by the way, take out your phone and film it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, but that's so much work. And I'm like,
is it really that much work though? I bought like a $30 ring light phone stand thing from Walmart, and I have a phone anyways. And I offer like, at least I have like 2-hour film sessions. People can get a discount with that. And they know that I'm filming. And so I just literally start pressing play. And then if I need to change the angle, because I'm not fancy like you with my poor camera setup and all
not
that.
Not yet. We're close. We're not yet.
But I just move my little phone stand around and it gets me what I need to get. And it is what it is. Like, people don't care. They're getting effective body work, and they're getting a discount because, and I get, it's an even trade that way, because then I get like 2 hours worth of video that I can slice and dice and throw into my Instagram account.
Social proof is a very interesting thing. And friends and I, when we chat, there's sometimes they don't really debate this or argue about it, but they're like, man, we think you're on the autism spectrum. We think you're a little neurospicy. Like, there's just some things that you don't naturally like get. It's like your brain doesn't work like other people's brains works or something. So I can be in a social situation and I know that people want me to behave a certain way, and I'm like, no. But this is, and I'm like, do I think this is good for humanity? Everybody just accepts it, and it's like, is the way that I would behave, is that actually facilitating the process and growth that I want in people and the culture and humanity at large? And they're like, God damn, bro. Like, it's social norms, right? There's a weird, and I talked to Kristen about this, there's a weird massage culture. And to come in and insist on mat work is like, no, this isn't how we do things. And I go, why? I'm wearing a soccer t-shirt, by the way. It gets you in trouble. He was put to death for a reason. The issue is, it's primarily a business problem. And I've got a million ideas, but it's kind of like, I don't know, SpaceX and, billionaires going to the moon or going to space, whatever they're doing. I get so I can't even keep track anymore. Like, we're having conversations about billionaires going into low Earth orbit, and then like AI is doing this, and people, it looks like Skynet. People are like, here's NVIDIA's new processor. And I'm like, I'm waiting for the robot to come out. It's like, it's a strange time to be alive post-COVID. And all I'm doing is saying, well, we can work on a mat, right? But it's like, massage therapists who are trained in massage schools to work in massage facilities and get massage licenses are like, no, and I'm like, I don't have any interest in your cultural norms at all. I don't give a fuck about your sense of status or prestige. Like, I want to go out and help people. And it's like it's a certain like tribalism. There are little camps and modalities and the way stuff breaks off. And I'm just trying to create a new option or a new alternative. And I'm trying to create an option and an alternative so that when the next student comes along, they don't have to do what I did. They don't have to have it hard. They just go, no, I'm a next level pain relief practitioner, and clients contact them and game over. Until I can do that, it's an issue. And we started to experiment. We had a Thai massage jam the other night, and a young lady who was there, I'm not sure where she studied mat work, but she seemed super familiar. And the jams are real fun because I don't have to perform. And when I say that, I don't have to, I don't know. It's like I'm not really teaching. I'm just kind of a dude at the jam. Like I don't really they're like, "Who runs this?" And I'm like, "Eh." Who leads this? And I'm like, "Eh." We have no leader. We're autonomous here. Like it's like Burning Man. You are the event. But she asked me like, "Hey, could you work on my feet?" And I'm like, "Sure." And it was like she was trying to understand how would I choose to do this one specific thing. Mm-hmm. And then she was laying on her back. I picked up one of her legs, so I'm standing up and I'm coming in with my forearm, leaning into her foot, stretching her calf, mobilizing. I grab like her toes and start working my thumb around the inside of her arch, and it was like it's pin and stretch basically. Mm-hmm. And then when I snap back into it, the stuff that I do that's so natural that I do on the daily, I'm like, dude, do you realize how advanced this is? Mm-hmm. Like this is, to a massage therapist who's not familiar with mat work, this is completely out of their wheelhouse. Like, don't worry about suspension and abdominal and yoga therapy and pain science and subcutaneous nerves and, research. Like, you're just not operating within the same cultural norms. And it creates a challenge because if you're a student who wants to do the stuff, you realize, oh no, I have to work for myself. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to do all that stuff. And as we had a conversation, we had some success with the Done For You social media program. And in fact, I think it's the thing if I've ever named anything, Done For You social media was perfect. Mm-hmm. I mean, perfect. Like I couldn't have picked a better name. Yeah. It's worked to a point, but I told the young lady, I was like, I really think we need to push past it. I'm trying to figure out. In fact, I wrote some staff an email yesterday where I went, okay, not just Done For You social media. We need to set up a structure to be able to connect to a student's Facebook page or Instagram and actually run ads for them. Mm-hmm. We run a test 4 months. How much ad budget do they put in each month? And then how much, do I need to pay staff? Like, how do we work out the math on that? It's like, if all I do is get the students clients, like if a student puts $100 into ad spend, if they spend $300 a month, $150 is in like ads. If they're spending $150 a month in ads, what does that break down to? That's 30. I can't do the math. Anyway, so $5 a day, is that 150? Yeah. So if they did $5 a day in ads, they spent $150 on ad budget for that month. How many clients do they have to get to feel like that's a success?
Well, for me, if somebody comes in for 1 hour with me, that pays for it.
And then let's say a student just broke even. Would they continue for a year running ads if they were only breaking even?
Because I think you're going to see the return on investment as you keep doing it. Because you can't judge anything by the first month. Because you don't know who's seeing it. You got to tweak things. You got to dial it in, like who you're targeting with the ads and that kind of thing. But if you do it consistently, if you even just give it 6 months, or you said 4 months, I think that you'll start to see the ROI more after that.
Then if it's $150 a month, I think, I wonder if they made $300, would they feel like, okay, I've won. We just continue to do this. Mm-hmm. Because I do think it builds, but the issue is I've thought about it before, but I'm actually digging deeper into it mentally to figure out whether I think it's actually feasible for me to structure. Because, I mean, okay, a student has to learn online. You're in Canada. You've never met me in person. We've never, hung out. And it's like you are basically like a rare student. Not most of the students aren't going to just learn online. But I'm not having a problem delivering information related to body work. If anything, it's so natural. I just go, guys, I could stream to you daily. live, and my own subscribers are like, no, I don't. I what's a live stream? I don't understand. And I'm like, guys, I'm in the subscribers group having office hours playing video games on screen live. Like, I just stream to you, just like I'm streaming, or, you know, it's a recording, but I could just send this stream into YouTube or into Facebook. Delivering information about bodywork and technique is not the problem. Not even remotely. I've conquered that to the point of, like, we're so close to releasing the body map. And once I release the body map, I'm like, okay, now let's test and see. I don't think it's going to, like, be the thing in the sense of, I don't think there's a magic bullet. This is the thing that will solve all the business problems. Everything I add is another problem. There's some tech support, you know, like we're doing a podcast and I'm like, how do I make these things round? How do I do that? You know, and I figured it out, but it's just layers. So then you're in the situation where the issue isn't technique. It's not bodywork. It's not education. It's not distribution. The distribution problem is gone. In fact, I'll say this even further. The real problem people have with me has very little to do with mat work. It has to do with the computer. I adopted digital distribution like I was fucking working with the guys with the Pirate Bay. I'm like, come on, steal it. Come on, let's go. Steal. Steal. It's fine. Just steal it. Fuck it. You know, whatever. And the rest of my industry is going, dude, people are going to steal your stuff. And I'm like, oh no. And they're going to make me the Metallica of body workers? Like, people are going to get help, and there's going to be mat-based facilities springing up all over the landscape, because it's like, that's not, what are you blocking? What is the gatekeeping shit in the industry in terms of education? I don't really think that's it. I'm giving away the information. The problem is the business. The students have enough stress and enough stuff going on. They just want clients to clamor and go, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that. Can I pay you for that?
You have to show them that, though. You have to show them that they want that. Like, that's half the battle, I think, in marketing is, I mean, I see more massage therapists now, like in my Instagram feed, recording certain things, but that could just be my bubble because I follow people and like maybe, and that's just kind of what Instagram is showing me. But nobody records anything, even if it's traditional massage, and just talks about, like, what is this doing? Like, so I can take the boring clip of me just sticking my foot on someone's quad and be like, okay, like, what is this doing? It looks boring. It looks like I'm not doing anything, but I'm affecting the hip. I'm affecting the knee. I'm affecting the quad. I'm affecting the fascia. I'm affecting, like, you know, even into the hip flexor and stuff. Like, all of those things are things that clients don't know that they need until we show them that, right? Like, you've got low back pain. I want to show you how I can fix it. Actually, I can't say that I can fix it, but how I can help maybe fix it.
The business and the structure is, if things get rough, I go back into my zone, which is grind. And as I'm getting ready to move, I'll have a new studio. It's a little bit larger, not huge, but it could be like 4 students or 6 or something, like more than I've got now.
Nice.
And when you change the physical structure, it changes in my behavior. And part of the thing with the way I deal with education is so, I hate to say informal, but I kind of have to work to make a plaque, to make a certification and a trademark, and a work to, like this is how I would do it. I wake up, it's a home studio. I wander out having coffee. The students are already upstairs in the studio doing their thing. And I'm like, okay, guys, what are we doing? Like, that's how I would teach. It's just like, just what I do on the daily. It's not super physically laborious. It just takes a lot of time. The other side is I'm so almost like I have a religious fervor around it. Like, it's not a job. It's a fucking mission. I'm like, I don't know, like people in the civil rights movement. Was it a job? Well, I have a job. I bring in some money, go into these protests and sit-ins and no, like this is a mission. These people had a dream of like what, the world they were trying to create, and they were willing to go to jail for it. I have a similar kind of fervor around what I'm teaching, but I think for students, they're like, man, whatever, bro. I just need clients. Like I need money. And when I talked at the jam about not the done for you social media, but pushing into ads, she's like, well, that's what I want. She immediately like perked up, and it was like she saw I was trying to solve the business problem.
Yeah.
She didn't have a problem dealing with the sessions or working on the clients. And in fact, I think if you reverse engineered it and you get them clients, they'll actually dedicate more time to study and like mastering technique using whatever. Yeah. So there's some challenges. And even when I deal with Kristen, it's like, as she does this, I think she thinks I figured it out. And I'm like, Kristen, I don't know what I'm doing on any given day. Like I've got a boat with holes and leaks, and I'm like, bail some water, put some tape on it, plug it in with some foam. Just keep the thing going. I, as a business owner, can't rely on the students to build their businesses. Or should I say to build my business? Like I have so many more options like video. I could go in our subscribers vault and have entire sections on how to use software, video, shortcut tutorials, editing, stuff they can do. Nobody's going to watch that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they want the technique.
One student out of however many, and I'm like, guys, you can just go to YouTube and type in, free editing software. And they're like, no, but I want the best. And I'm like, okay, the best free software or the best stuff that you pay for? Well, what's the best camera? And I'm like, guys, your phone.
Yeah.
Your phone.
I have a Google Pixel phone, and it has one of the best cameras.
Like, don't get me wrong. We'll walk you along through steps if I feel like you need something else later. But for the most part, the stuff that you're doing is just pressing a button on your phone and making little videos. I have a harder time with the phone because I have to use reading glasses because my vision up close is not super great. In the end, my business can't be overly tied to the students' success. I'll always be invested and I'll always be there to support them, but I've got to figure out how to keep building. And I've had the ideas in my head, but it's only recently that I think staff has like synced to the point where I think it might be possible to run like a small test and see, would this actually work? If a student figured out they could put in $150 a month in ads and we made it affordable, and then they started getting $300, $400, $500, maybe $1,000 worth of clients, new clients, you wouldn't have to do that long to basically build their practice. Then I've had people go, well, if they do that successfully, then they're not going to study. And I'm like, dude, listen, if one therapist, if they study with me for a year and then they're doing the techniques, they're making money, they start making lots of money because they're getting new clients from an ads program. By the time they drop, all the other therapists in their town are like, well, I want to do that. And then it just expands. Like, that's not an issue. It's just the failure is on the business end, and there's no amount of video where like, I'm going to show them how to do it. And it's like, how did I learn the video and editing? It's like YouTube, man. I went to YouTube and typed in, how do I make a Facebook reel? Or whatever it is. How do I use they were talking about CapCut, like video editing software in their phone. How do I use CapCut or whatever? That information is available, but again, because they go to massage school and they're trained in a certain way, they're like, no, we want to do it the right way. And I'm like, the way that we're currently doing it is made up. And the way that
But
we
that's
will,
part of the beauty of like growing though as a person and as a business is throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing if it sticks, right? Like what sticks, what doesn't. Like I don't know. Like I learned so much from my quote unquote failures. And I don't even like calling them failures, but just like things that didn't work out. Um, than I have from just all of my successes, right?
I mean, it is, but the problem is you've got young therapists coming out of school. They need money now.
Yeah, I understand.
That's why they wind up in massage facilities doing what they do. And rarely, there are some, but rarely do I see therapists going, "Oh my God, I love where I work. I love my boss. I love the situation and parameters that I'm in." Normally, what I hear is a lot of Facebook groups, lots of complaining. Well, I don't like this, and I'm like, "Cool, quit."
Mm-hmm.
I can't just quit, and I'm like it or lump it. Like,
yeah,
nobody
come up with a plan at least. Like, you don't have to quit immediately. Like the way that I did it when I transitioned to the mat-based stuff, I wouldn't necessarily recommend to everybody because I took a financial hit, but I also have a partner that is, supported stuff financially. We weren't like struggling to put food in our kids' mouths, but like you can still work in a facility 2 or 3 days a week and grow your mat-based business too. If you do it, like if you do the right things for it, like, or if you, like you said, put $150 a month into ad revenue or, and just start filming your work and show people what you do and what problems you can solve.
I mean, it seems so easy, but I think for me, I just got to a point where like, no, this is what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And anybody was like, well, you can't do that here. I'm like, all right. So I just did what I had to do to get to help the clients and get the paycheck on a table until my last job at a chiropractor's office. And then that was like, okay, I'm in a chiropractor's office. I'm wearing scrubs, but I got it at a thrift store, by the way, for like $10. I go, man, it's Thai massage. It's from Thailand. They didn't care. You're in Texas, man. They don't care about any of that. It's the Buddha, the Father, Dr. Jivaka. No. Buddhism, no. It was like, where do you hurt? What kind of massage do you do? Wrong question. Where do you hurt? Mm-hmm. Well, it's my upper back and neck. I'm like, okay, is it more right side or left side? It's on my right side. I'm like, right here? Yeah. Go ahead and lay down on your left side. Just take off your shoes, lay down on the table just like you are. You mean with my clothes on? I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to move you around to see where we're going to work. Okay. Mm-hmm. You work on them 5 or 10 minutes. Right there? Oh, right there? Oh, right there? Oh, man. Oh, that's it. Oh. After the 5 or 10 minutes, I go, cool. Do you want to take off your top and bra, lay down face first, and the face rest with the Swedish deep tissue, or do you want to keep doing what we're doing? Oh, look, this is real good. Can we just keep doing this? I'm like, sure. Yeah. The entire session became clothes on, looked a lot like Stretch Lab or Stretch Zone or whatever. And then the clients were happier. They were like, man, dude, what kind of massage is this? This is amazingly effective. Oh, this is Thai massage. Then they wanted it.
Yeah.
They go out to the front and go, the dude with the hair, whatever that stretchy thing is, I want that again. My boss heard that and was like, man, what's he doing in there? Mm-hmm. The clients seemed to really like it. Then she left me alone. It was like, oh, okay, they like it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But that's the thing. You had to like incept it. You had to like figure out how to like put it through in a way that the public wanted it. 80% of my clients or 90% of my clients, eventually they let me put in a mat, became mat based. Yeah. It was like the other therapists who wanted to do massage and didn't want to, work super hard. They had problem clients. They referred the problem clients to me. Then the chiropractor had some big guy he can't adjust because he's so huge, and they'd send him to me. So I became an asset to the facility. But it's like the way I see it in massage schools and massage facilities is they don't want anybody to stand out.
Right.
Oh, no. Everybody's got to be homogenous and standardized and pasteurized around here. We can't have any rogues. We can't have any of those crazy people roaming around doing things differently. And it's like, okay. I mean, I knew I worked a certain number of hours a week, and all the rest of the time, 80 hours a week, was blogging, making video, promoting my service, setting up a website, online scheduling, how do you promote, Thai Massage Jam. It was like massive amounts of work. And then do therapists in 2024 understand that I've been teaching in Austin for 13 years? Like, I've been at war with my own industry in my own city forever. There's only one facility in town that even offers mat-based work, to my knowledge. No, that's not true. There's two, but like only one really actively promotes it, to my knowledge. And it's like, this is in the city I live in.
Yeah.
Our massage therapist banging down my door, like, oh my God, this is amazing. We got to study this.
It blows my mind.
And why does it blow your mind?
It's just like, I made it my mission. Like, I think I'm also a little bit neurospicy as well, right? So I made it my mission. I get bored really easy. And so I just went on and got massages from anybody and everybody. I was all about like, let's try Thai massage. Let's try shiatsu. Let's try this. Let's try that. Oh, you do sports massage? Cool. I'm not sporty, but I'd love to feel what it feels like, you know? And so I learned like just so much, and I like techniques that I loved. I'm like, oh, cool. I want to incorporate that into my treatments and stuff. And it just blows my mind that people are willing to just do the same shit over and over and over again and just keep doing it. Like not get bored, not want to like, hey, you know what? I've been massaging you for 6 months and nothing has changed. Like, not want to just take that next step and be like, what can we do to get you over this hump, you know?
Yeah, the focus was chronic pain because I was in it. And then as I worked on my own stuff and improved, it was like passing on that information to clients. I always joke with the students, I'm like, I knew for a fact that my personality was not going to catapult me to the top of the industry. Like, I had to solve a problem. And when people came in and said, I have upper back and neck pain, it was like, why? And this is me to myself, like, why does everybody have upper back and neck pain? Like, what are they doing that causes pain in that area? And I kept working at it and working at it and working at it. And I figured out how to work on it. They would get improvement, and I kept refining it. And I'm like, oh, it's thoracic flexion. They're just like slouched forward through the chest. It's putting pressure on cervical muscles in their cervical spine because they're collapsed through the chest. Then I would, like, on my Facebook page, I write, I don't know, I tweak social media and try different stuff just to see who's paying attention, and we shake them out of their torpor. And I go, why do people have back pain? And there's a comment thread, 20 comments, like, well, we live in a very weird world compared to where we evolved and adapted. You know, we sit at chairs and flexion and so is. And I'm like, it's because we walk upright. It's because we're bipedal. And they don't comment on my, like, answer. They're just like, eh. And I'm like, guys, an upright spine with all that pressure on it is a wonderful design if you're a chiropractor or a massage therapist. If you're a surgeon, but it's not in nature. That is not a good position for like spinal nerves and whatever. Yeah, I'm aware it gave us use of our hands and tools and all the stuff we do to building the James Webb Telescope, but it's like for your spine is like not ideal. Yeah. The depth of questioning that went into the service itself just to make it more strange. When I get into the new studio, it's not exactly what I had before in my former home that I owned in Round Rock. It's a little smaller as a studio, but it's still some space. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I can go back to my yoga classes.
Ooh.
And then you get 4 people at a time, let's say 4 students. They have upper back and neck pain. And I do what I always did. Come on, guys, let's do some yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking them through some basic vinyasa, some basic flowing sequences, and Surya Namaskar. And then I'm like, okay, grab a foam roller. Grab a pillow and some blankets and bolsters. We're going to help you open up your chest right here. You're having some issues right here. And then I come in with the hands-on assists. Then I show the student how to work on themselves. The students all go, man, this was amazing. Is this yoga? And I'm like, I think so. But I'm rejected by the massage community. Guess what happens when I take what I just said, what the service I just provided, and I bring it to the yoga community?
Well, they say it's not yoga, right?
and the students are like, this is amazing. Why isn't this everywhere? And I'm like, oh God. Now, can I teach students, my current students, are they ready? They think they know what I do. Are they ready?
No.
And it's like, once you start adding the props and like, they're like, but this is like, you're not conforming to a profoundly sick society. Yeah, I have no desire to conform to a profoundly sick society. Why don't we solve the problem? I can teach it from 4 camera angles. It's coming. I'm going to have space. COVID was weird. I had to hermit. I felt like the Unabomber, a very peaceful Unabomber, very pacifist, but it was like still kind of cloistered and on my own. I'm ready to go. The students, like Kristen's teaching intro Thai today. She's in class right now. They might be at lunch, but she's in class here in Austin. Are the students ready?
No.
Listen, we have debates. Like I put up the new curriculum. The level 1 like certification track, which I'm still working on, but the curriculum is there, and it's like upper back and neck, lower back and hips, table and mat, just super basic, 15, 20 minute, 30-minute sequence, something like that. You're breaking it down into smaller chunks so the students can follow along, but all the students care about is suspension. I want that thing. Where'd I get that thing? I'm saying it's in the vault. Go ahead and subscribe. The instructions for installation are right there. Oh, you're not going to help me? And I'm like, take out your credit card.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I'm not providing support here. It's just there's issues. The bigger debate, not the yoga therapy. We can call it yoga therapy. That's probably a better handle for what I'm doing in sessions like that. But the students want to start with suspension. I had a conversation with Kristen because she's teaching her on that spectrum. She's like teaching. She's looking at intro Thai. She's looking at how the stuff is developed. She wants the students to love it the way she loves it. And she's trying to figure out how to put it together. And I'm like, Kristen, just teach them. If they're lucky, they're going to get 1 or 2 moves a day. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we start with suspension? Don't worry about mat work.
You want people to start with suspension?
And here's the thing. There's curriculum where it's like, if I studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I start at the beginning. Yeah, I've got a movement-based practice. I could probably learn it really fast, but I'm a beginner. I'm not in great shape. I have to condition myself. My heart rate is going to go up while I'm struggling with people. I'm not used to it. It's going to take time and muscle memory to develop, and they've got a very charted, you're a white belt, you're a brown belt, you're eventually a black belt. I forget. I don't know the belt order in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You get them to start at the beginning. The problem is the students in my world, they want to jump straight to the black belt. I want to do that. I want to do that suspension. Yeah. I want to do that suspension. I think I can teach it if I had a facility. I think I can teach it from the beginning. But it's like what is happening is the suspension master class, which you were a part of, there's a weird thing that's happening where I was writing curriculum where, guys, we're going to go swimming. We're going to go to the edge of the pool. Come on, put on your floaties. We're going to walk down the little steps. We're going to go into the wader part. Come on, guys, they're swimming. Look, check it out. Now let's go into the deep end. Oh, that's crazy. I don't know about that. I don't know if I can swim there. The suspension masterclass was walking to the edge of the pool, throwing them in the deep end, waiting till they started to drown, and then go, cool, you want swimming lessons?
That's what I did.
It was in reverse.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it worked better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I want to change the curriculum for level 1 certification, but I almost think the suspension and information around the suspension is how you get the students in to then show them you need to continue training in mat work. The other thing is, what happens when they don't have suspension? I don't feel crippled. I can do most of the stuff in a slightly different way to get similar results. A little more work sometimes. Like we prefer suspension, but what happens when you don't have it? There's not just curriculum and how to walk them along. It's marketing and packaging and advertising. The reason I know what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is because when I was a child, my father had a cable descrambler box. Thank you, Father's Day, Dad. The Ultimate Fighting Championship came on when I was a kid, and it was like, oh my God, they're going to have like a Muay Thai guy fight a karate guy, and a karate guy fight this guy. And in walked a dude who looks about as a shape as I do. His name was Hoist Gracie, and he fucking destroyed everyone who got in the ring with him. As a kid, I watched it and was like, dude, what the hell is this? And they're like, oh, this is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the last 30 years has exploded. But at that time, it was nothing. It was relatively unknown. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was so effective, everybody had to train in it. But why did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blow up? TV.
Right.
Everybody could see it.
Yeah.
Everybody saw that they consistently won, and they couldn't, like all these striking disciplines, they had to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu just to defend against it because it was so effective. Yeah. And that goes back to the marketing. It's like, it's what people see. I can release mat-based videos all day that just die on the vine. There isn't a massage therapist that gives 2 shits about the video I produce. But if a video comes out with suspension, they're like, well, I want that thing. Where'd I get that thing? I want that.
Yeah.
Where'd I get that? And it's like, cool, do you work in a facility that's going to allow you to set that up?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get distinct answers. I just see how they respond. I want that thing. Where do I get that? Yeah. And I go, I've already released that thing 4 years ago. Here.
Take it. Yeah.
But here's the other piece. When it comes to social proof, do they think it's worth anything if I'm giving it away for free?
Oh, no. You should be charging hundreds of dollars for your blueprints and whatnot. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't let me hang out with Julian Assange and Ed Snowden and the guys from the Pirate Bay, and I go, hey guys, what's going on? What do y'all think about digital distribution of information globally? It doesn't bother me. This is not trade secrets. There are no secrets. You can just watch what I've done. Like, I'm just fucking turn on the camera. It's like, I'm like the police. I'm like, Robert, should you really say that? I'm like, nobody's going to. 30 years from now, somebody will finally catch something I said that makes them pissed off in a video a year ago. Like, it's a full manifestation of a practice. I use the distribution that I have to try to reach out to more students and help more clients, but I don't have any desire to like withhold information. It's not like, well, no, you have to go to the next class, and you have to go to the next class, and you have to go to the next class. It's like, no, I want dedicated students who want to go to the next class, but I'm not going to gatekeep information and be like, no, this information is secret and private to the special people. I just don't like, why? Like, does Metallica get up and play, and do they cover up where they're pressing on the strings because they don't want other people to replicate their guitar solos? Trumpeters and jazz scene, trumpeters used to do this, by the way. They put a handkerchief over their fingerings to like cover,
really?
to cover that stuff up because they were worried other trumpet players would see it and like mimic what they were doing. Did Jimi Hendrix go, nope, you can't see it. I don't want you to, it's like I'm trying to get people to steal my work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I had a conversation with Kristen last night. Do you know how soothing it is to have a conversation with Kristen to hear that she's frustrated with teaching because she wants the students to love it? Yeah. How do we make the curriculum better? And I'm like, I just feel like such a kinship with her because she's on board and she really wants these students to love it and go. But usually it's me having conversations with myself about curriculum. There's nobody else teaching for me to, have that conversation with. Yeah. Students sort of look at it like, well, if this was effective, it would be everywhere, right? And I'm like,
no, not with all the preconceived notions about what massage is and isn't.
Yeah.
And not with like the core curriculum of every school is Swedish.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. I don't really, how do I say this? I don't feel like I put down on school owners and I tell them this, and they've only got 500 hours. There was a video that came out on my Facebook page, and the way it was clipped by the editors, I was working with somebody on their side, and I hooked my hands on their shoulder, and I said, yeah, therapists always think I'm only working where my hands are. And then I went right into what I was teaching, and a bunch of Canadian therapists were fucking pissed off. They were fucking writing nasty comments, and I can't believe I studied this kinesiology and fucking this. We went to school 2,000 hours, and I'm like, guys, the average therapist in Texas has 500 hours.
And I think we forget that too, like as Canadian massage therapists, is that I think our education is the most that anybody in the world gets at this point. At least it was the last time I checked. Like there are still countries where you don't even have like any kind of like regulation. You just do it. Right?
Yeah, it was. And again, it's like, well, I saw this thing and it triggered something in me, and I feel like he's denigrating me. So I'm going to write a snarky ass comment, and I'm like that, dude, if that pissed you off, I've got a gold mine of pissed off opportunity to like fucking irritate you to the end of the world. Like when I talk to therapists about massage culture, they don't think that exists. That's like a foreign concept. And I'm like, it's different in Mississippi. I'm sorry. It is. Mm-hmm. It's different in St. Louis. It is. The laws and the regulations and the schools and the parameters, and it's like it's slightly different also depending on your school owner. What have they trained and studied in? Some areas of the country have a little more loamy representation. Thai massage maybe on the coasts primarily, but they're okay with it being a cool modality. They're okay with it being like, oh, okay, there's occasionally a crazy person who wants to work this way. They don't like when I'm like, no, this is the alternative.
Yeah.
Let's just change it. Hey, you know that 500 hours you spent just learning this table stuff? Let me push that table over. Now let's get to work. Yeah. What?
You want to hear a funny story about tables and mats, actually? So I was just looking at different mats because I'm changing up my setup a little bit. And I was on this website for this table maker in Toronto. They make like electric tables, but somebody I know who does Thai massage in Toronto has a thing with them where they'll make the mats. They supply the mats for the Canadian Massage Conference. So I went looking for it, and they have a mat that is on legs that you can up and like lift up and down. And I was like, why wouldn't you just go on the floor? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I saw a therapist, they had what they called a PT table.
Yeah.
And it looked like a mat, big square. It looked like it was 6 inches to a foot off the ground or something.
Yeah.
And for our industry, it's like, ooh, that's the innovation. And I'm like, why all this equipment?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure the thing would have cost $4,000, like just for the like mechanical thing, mechanics of it. I just
okay. So I have an issue with consumer culture, and have you seen the film Fight Club?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he was going through the IKEA catalog, talking about the things he selected for his apartment that represented who he is as a person? The yin yang rug and the desk and the wall art and this got the weird like Swedish name or whatever because it's IKEA. I understood that critique like wonderfully. Like it was very well done, at least in the film. I never read the book. But massage therapists do the same thing. They're very much into, well, here's the CE class that I took. Here's the table that I bought. Here's the right scheduling software, the right, kind of phone or whatever it is. They're purchasing a sort of lifestyle. This is who I am as a person.
Right. Yeah.
And I keep trying to deliver a new lifestyle brand. And I'll talk to Kristen about this. I'm like, cool. How does a next level pain relief specialist dress? What? Dude, listen, I can go in our subscribers group. I did this on purpose. Sometimes people, they're interesting. They don't realize the depths of, depravity and strangeness that I'm doing. I go to our subscribers group. I can't get them to ask a question about pain management. I go, ladies, what kind of pants are you wearing? I always wear tie fisherman pants. What kind of pants are you wearing in session? There'll be a comment thread, 25 comments long, talking about their fashion sense and the kind of pants they wear.
I've seen that, yeah.
Now, why?
Prestige. And like, it really is. It's just like, it's like the massage therapist that wears scrubs. Sometimes it's, an oil thing or whatever, like not to get your clothes messed up, but sometimes it's also an aesthetic thing. It puts it on a different level than just somebody who's wearing leggings and a t-shirt, right?
And I'm like, Kristen, when we build next level pain relief large enough so that Lululemon sponsors us and puts a heart-shaped traction pads on the keister and it says next level pain relief, we will make $1 million. And it's because of pants. It has nothing to do with body work. But that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, listen, we would sell 3 times as many classes if we had workbooks, mats, DVDs, bolsters, pillows, blankets with all our logo on it that you could buy with your class. Oh my God, I could just buy, oh my God, do you have a suspension? Oh yes, we have a prefabricated unit right here. You could pick it up. Now, it's 5 times as much as going to a hardware store, but okay. Because they want to purchase that stuff, and that stuff is a signal that like, oh, I'm going to purchase the lifestyle I want. There's no status or prestige to a digital subscription service of $7 a month.
Yeah.
It's like, you have Netflix? Okay, well, all right. Does that impress anybody?
No.
and that's the thing. It's like I'm in the digital information education distribution business, and they're like, no, we want merchandise, we want merch. And I'm like, but I'm anti-merch. Why would you, like, okay, you guys are broke, why would I want to sell you stuff you can't afford? That doesn't make any sense. Just do the work, and then you make money, and then you can purchase whatever lifestyle you need.
Exactly.
But
make your own merch.
There's I don't know, it's just like having a podcast. It's like, oh, well, apparently he really cares about what he's doing. It must be pretty good. He's got a podcast. I mean, he even has a podcast mic. Look, he's wearing headphones. He purchased headphones for his podcast. This must be a real thing. There's all these signals that happen with that. And the therapists are completely eaten up with it. If I had a brick and mortar, Oh, well, it's a real thing. He doesn't have a brick and mortar, though. It's not,
Right.
it's like he's just teaching on the internet. He doesn't have a brick and mortar. Oh, he has his own clinic. Oh, totally different response. And what to do about that, I'm not fighting it. Like, I mean, I want to give students good mats and good materials, and I'm not opposed to it, but there's a lot of work that goes into that to be able to provide materials, including the shipping. I don't want my new home to be stacked full of boxes.
No.
Where I'm shipping stuff. Yeah. But the more concrete, the more they see students like you winning, the more therapists want to do it.
Yeah.
And I've seen this on a very small scale. I purposefully got Kristen ready to teach her class. And I'm like, Kristen, you know it. Just go. You don't have to teach it like me. She even wanted to watch the video because I had all this great stuff. I'm like, Kristen, I completely overwhelm the students. Would you just go teach the class? You're nice and attractive, things I will never be. Just go. Teach them. They'll respond to you. She teaches the class, and then she's like, oh, they were real disappointed that you weren't there. And I'm like, don't nobody want to hang out with me? Like, the business, for it to grow, relies on students like you to continue building and to continue teaching and to tweak it in small ways. The core will be the same, but it's like I expect when you start teaching that your classes will be slightly different. There'll be a slightly different focus. You're like, Robert does it this way, but watch this. I like this, and I don't fight that. Like, the work is so broad and diverse. There's a million ways to approach something, and having the teacher's individual personality shine through is something that's needed. The difference is if I have Kristen making video, you teaching classes, Kristen teaching classes, how much bigger does the business look?
Much bigger. Yeah.
It's like
a little bit more legit.
And that thing in terms of status and prestige is a big deal. Like, I've got to figure out how to continue developing what I'm doing. And I can give the students support materials. That's not a problem. I mean, that's over. That shit was over 4 years ago when I figured out the multicam. I was like, this shit, it's dead. Like, there's no going backwards. Like, this shit's over. Like, unless there's a solar flare and it wipes out all the technology on Earth, it's like, it's over. Like, you're never going to go back to teaching in-person classes exactly the same way or having just that specific focus on it. The difference is, do I want to teach 4 students perfectly, or do I want to teach 10,000 as good as I can?
Yeah.
Well, both.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
If you offer the live stream thing, you could teach your 10,000, and then you could get your 4 students from that want to take it to the next level and have the one-on-one time with you.
I hope so. I mean, it's all in the wings, essentially. Yeah. I think that fundamentally, let's say I figured out advertising for students. It's sort of a business in a box. The certification and the flow would be like, okay, you're a certified provider. You're now on the practitioner listing. Now, do you want to sign up for a package where we run ads for you? Oh my God, you do that for me? And I'm like, with some maintenance, yes. Here's what it costs. As long as we can lather, rinse, repeat, then I can hire somebody to deal with merch. Then I can hire somebody to go gather products and have them listed on Amazon or however that's got to be structured, drop shipping or whatever. The challenge is the building process. And when I started, did I think, yes, podcasting. Oh my God, this is it. No, podcasts didn't exist when I, to my knowledge, when I started. Yeah. What's been the response in your local community or amongst therapists to like the work you're doing?
I get I have a lot of massage therapists that follow me on Instagram. And I get a lot of DMs about, am I going to teach? Which I hope to do that at some point. And I get a lot of like, oh, wow, this looks great. Or a lot of like, oh, I never thought of it this way, like comments and stuff like, oh, you could do that, like, or I get sometimes, well, how would you deal with this problem or that problem? So I think it starts, I think I've created something that I'm open and people feel like they can ask me questions. And I appreciate that. So I think it's been, I guess what to say, it's fairly positive. Like I haven't had anybody negatively comment on things on like work posts. So yeah.
Yeah, Kristen she's like, I don't understand. Where are all the therapists? Why aren't they? And I'm like, Kristen, they do not esteem me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look up to me. They don't want to be me when they grow up. Like, mm-hmm. I'm one rogue practitioner. That's not a movement.
Yeah. But I think once you get more, like, I mean, with Kristen and her social media presence, me and mine, and other like women in the industry, because our industry is 80% women.
Yeah.
I think that will hopefully start opening up people's minds, like other therapists' minds, that this is something that is good to do. Like, honestly, I feel way safer as a woman doing clothes on massage than I ever did like having naked men on my table.
Yeah, I just have to have women colleagues talk about that. If I talk about it, it raises a lot of ire.
Yeah. But I mean, your way of talking about it too, like understanding and acknowledging that women are afraid of going to male therapists for a specific reason of being, it's a vulnerable position to be in when you take your clothes off and slide under a sheet and have a male touching you. No. It's not the most comfortable thing for most women. But if you can talk about it from your perspective, where it's like, well, I don't need you to take your clothes off. Like, you can just stay fully clothed. You can wear a parka if you want, and and you can do the work, right? I think that can create, a more comfortable culture for the male massage therapists as well in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, and these are guesses, 85% of therapists are women.
Yeah.
Do women in America want to hear what a white guy has to say about their industry?
No.
And that's why I learned to focus on students' voices.
Unless you have the word doctor in front of your name or something fancy, right?
Yeah. It's like I have women colleagues and, mentees, I guess, that talk about their experience. Like I would do this in a class. Women would ask a question about something related to safety or social media or business building, and I would realize I'm a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Like I promoted Thai massage because that's what it was, right? Like, and then I didn't think about sexual stuff because like I'm a guy and that's a rarity. It does happen with like gay men or something sometimes, but it's very obvious that I'm a guy when people come in. So I would stop class and go, ladies, how do you guys deal with this? Can you give this student some feedback? And then they would talk, and then somebody actually commented like, man, Robert, that was like really cool that I'm like, yeah, like women's issues are slightly different, and I'm never going to be an expert at it. Like I need women to talk about what their experiences are to be able to help navigate that. And the reason I put it on the floor to them is I want to hear how they're responding and dealing with it. One of the things that I think is the most transformative to the practice, and it relates to clothes on, but fundamentally what I realized years ago, I did a sort of thought experiment, and it was the lack of need for privacy. Every massage facility in America is designed to have a private room where other people can't see you. I'm like, get rid of that. One big open room.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, but people want privacy. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, people are naked. And I'm like, yeah, we don't do that anymore. That's old shit. We got new shit now.
Mm-hmm.
The physical building is structured differently.
Mm-hmm.
Do people have to do yoga privately?
No.
No. Why?
Because the clothes are on and it's a group experience, right?
And I go, why don't we do that with body work? And they're like, no, dude, I'm like, please tell me it's not massage. Please tell me it's not massage. Please tell me it's not massage. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love when we get to this point. The whole deal was I understood at that point when I did that thought experiment. And it was basically me sitting down with a piece of paper and I went, okay, what is massage? And don't worry about whether it's Thai, but what is the hell you're doing? What is this? This is before the brand name. I was like, there's something going on, but we got to figure this out. I got to understand this clearly. And that's where I came up with massage being table, cream, glide, and nudity.
Mm-hmm.
And my work took away the table, the cream, the glide, and the nudity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the clothes on piece meant, one, you didn't need privacy, but two, you could film and photo document everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, fuck it, let's go. I'd figured it out. I was like, this is it. Well, they don't want the Thai massage because it's kind of weird and it's on a mat. And then it's like, nope. Don't worry about the people who don't want it. Just show the video to the people who do. Show the video to the people who do. Show the people what you do. Turn on the camera every day. Show them what you do. Show them what you do. Show them what you do. And they're like, the therapist, oh, this is so much work. I'm like, go help people and press a button on your phone.
Mm-hmm. I post 5 times a week to social media. And I've learned that it's easier to like take, I don't know, 5 hours every 3 months and just batch everything and then set it up. Like I've got social media manager, like not manager, but like software that I just put it in there and it schedules it to go out whenever I want it to go out. It doesn't take that much time once you kind of get your flow. You think of your ideas of what you want. And I think 3 out of my 5 posts are usually a video of me working, so it's not, it does take some getting used to, but once you kind of get it, it doesn't take as much time as one would think.
Yeah. It's super interesting because I don't think anybody sees me as like a champion for women in the industry. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh no, this is a completely superior service for women in every way. Mm-hmm. You can't say that. And I'm like,
why not?
You don't have to work as hard. You don't have as much overhead. Your equipment is cheaper. You're more safe. What do you mean? And I'm like, okay, you're in Ontario, right?
Yeah.
So Ontario's the province?
The province, yeah.
Province, and then what's the city?
Waterloo.
Okay. I couldn't remember what city it was.
Yeah.
So I try to get the students to understand this. I had a student get mad one time. She's like, you talk about these next level pain relief clinics, but you're not willing to run one. She gets super mad about that. And I'm like, why would I run you run the facility? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, okay, so instead of getting on with me on the ground floor and building next level pain relief clinics, you want me to franchise and charge you an arm and a leg to do all the stuff for you? Like, why don't you just work with me and go, listen, I want to open a next level pain relief clinic. And I go, okay, lawyer, how do we do this?
Yeah.
Cool. It's yours.
Yeah.
Well, what about the staff? I'm like, well, I run these 4 cameras and help with training. I can fly up to Waterloo. It's fine.
Yeah.
The whole deal is
people do it. Yeah.
Everybody's safe because all you're doing, you ready? Let's go even further. Instead of it's a franchise and the staff are employees, why don't we open a cooperative? We now have a building that you've arranged, but the students come in and they're basically working within the facility independently.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Why?
Yeah.
The therapists complain about the evil capitalist overlords of Jeff Bezos who own the Massage Envy who are taking their money. And I go, cool, so let's do a cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to be responsible for a piece of the rent. Well, like I'm very pro worker. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a problem with a franchise, or like I talk about intellectual property. It's like I have 2 trademarks, Thai Massage Jam and Next Level Pain Relief. I don't want people stealing my intellectual property, but it's like, do I care that other people open source? No, I'm not restricting information. Please. Like I've been trying to get people to pick it up.
Yeah.
Then a student goes, I don't understand. You don't care if we just call it Thai massage? And I'm like, no. And they're like, what? I'm like, listen, you're going to have a really hard time. You're going to have a hard time explaining to customers what it is, because once the brand is big enough, people are going to start demanding the brand name, and they're going to have a certain status and recognition around the brand and the packaging and marketing and advertising and all the stuff I'm doing to help you. Am I looking at therapists and I'm like, how can I rake them over the coals? How can I get a little more money from them? How can I just get a little more money from them? No. Like, if I help people, money will come. Yeah. The challenge is, how do you help more people? There is a potential for a sort of, if you want to call it corporate structure, that you own the franchise, but the franchise is structured in a certain way that, like, the employees feel like they're a little bit more like an owner, if that makes sense. Like, it's like if you worked at Amazon and you actually own a chunk of the company somehow, you get voting rights and saying how this is going to run. Like, my populist leanings might not be fully understood, but it would be so much easier to be able to get therapists to work together, to be able to run certain things. It's just, I got involved in the digital information distribution business. I didn't get in the brick and mortar business. Brick and mortar real estate in Austin is outrageous. I can't even imagine what commercial real estate would be. And for a facility to pull off what I would need just to rent alone, I'll make a quick guess. Just to rent alone would be $3,000 a month.
Wow.
That doesn't include advertising, cleaning, marketing, infrastructure, software, front desk, like all the other stuff. And it's like, that's why, as a single entity, you know, I don't have a whole crew locally to handle all that stuff. So, in fact, it annoys therapists if I bring up cooperatives. Well, hey, you guys hate the owners. Like, you want to, you know, the sickle and the hammer, you want to overthrow the corporate overlords and the people keeping you down. Let's go do it. Cooperative.
Yeah.
And the first thing that happens is it falls apart because somebody doesn't pay rent, and they're like, you know, the therapist starts squabbling amongst themselves. And I'm like, there's a reason these things come out the way they do.
Yeah. There's something like that here where, like, it was a few years ago when the place where I was working was going to close and I needed to find new space to work out of. And so in my searching, I found this place that they provided, like, hot stones, table, like linens, everything. And then you could just rent it for the day, kind of thing. So you could have your clients and, like, they take care of scheduling and everything like that. And you would just come in for the day and then leave. I thought that was kind of interesting, but I don't know. It was pre-COVID too, so I don't know what that looks like now.
Yeah, there's room for all sorts of things. It's super interesting to me to, like, if we flip, we talked about clients, we talk about students. Now think about, like, owners, facility owners. A facility owner looks at what I'm doing and they're like, this is way too extreme. There's way too many problems here. In other words, we got to get rid of the table. We got to put down a mat. We got to put in some crazy suspension. The student has to be trained in this shit. And then if we lose that student, we can't continue promoting the service. Then we spend all this money changing the infrastructure for that. We got to change it back. That's why facilities aren't knocking on my door going, this is the future.
Yeah.
I'm ready to fuck it up more in the terms of the yoga therapy class. I don't even know what to call it yet. I'm trying to think about that. Next Level Pain Relief is the bigger brand, but like I need a subsection of my training where it's like, okay, here's where we're going. Yeah. And my students loved it. They were hardcore. They weren't going to do yoga with somebody else. They're like, this shit is next level. You know, like this is amazing. Like there's a weird flow because you'd think, okay, we'll just teach the yoga community online. But in my limited experience, what I get is they come in, they're excited, they do the stuff. They're like, dude, this is amazing. And halfway through, they love it. They learn it faster than the massage therapists do. And then they go, oh no, do I need a massage license to do this? And I go, well, not if you're not doing massage.
Right.
What? And I go,
yeah.
But yoga teachers in the United States are being taught in yoga teacher training programs with their Yoga Alliance certification that, one, they're not supposed to call anything they do therapy. It doesn't get Yoga Alliance credentials for therapy. Anything called therapy, they remove that word. Then, are you supposed to touch people? We're not supposed to touch people. We're taught we're not supposed to touch people. And I'm like, there was this gentleman called BKS Iyengar. He touched people. My work is deeply influenced by that old curmudgeonly dude with the thick bushy eyebrows. And then that old crotchety bastard, he was putting sandbags on people. What does sustained compression do with a sandbag?
Stimulates the nervous system. It releases.
God, you old bastard! You knew. Oh, you! God damn it! I'm not doing anything new. That you knew this. He knew it. He knew it. And
is yoga regulated down with you guys?
No, yoga. So let's put it this way: if any state mentions regulating yoga, the Yoga Alliance flies out lawyers on a helicopter to shut that shit down. Like there is no regulation, which opens up a weird set of
Yoga Alliance regulation in itself. Then, kind of like
Okay, so you'd have to get into a discussion about what certification is.
Oh, okay.
But essentially, to make a long story short, if you're a massage therapist listening to this, the NCB-TMB has a certification. It's called National Certification. The National Certification Board for Massage and Bodywork, I think, is the full NCB-TMB. So if I go to another state like Arkansas? Yeah, I think Arkansas does it now. If I go to another state like Arkansas, I can teach there because I can offer continuing education across state lines because of the national certification. Arkansas's laws, I think, allow that at this point. So if you get nationally certified, they're like, well, it's a certification. And it's like, yes, I fulfilled the obligation, rules, and requirements of the NCB-TMB to use their brand name.
Okay.
The students don't think about it that way, but that's what it is. I had a class, and I have so many classes. There was a free class or something, and somebody posted it to the NCB-TMB, and there was no record of it. And I got a letter from the NCB-TMB, and they're like, "Hey, Mr. Gardner, don't use our certification for a class that doesn't." And I looked at my records and I'm like, oh, I must have messed that up. Like I listed a class that hadn't been approved yet. So I had to contact the NCB-TMB and submit the information to approve the class the student had already got credit for. And I told the NCB, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. It was just a clerical thing. It wasn't like I was trying to encroach on your trademark. It was just, now I've got NCB-TMB certified, right? The Yoga Alliance is the same thing. Anybody, if they fulfill the requirements, can use the brand name of I'm Yoga Alliance certified. Okay. Does the Yoga Alliance...
You can just practice, you can be a teacher of yoga, but not be Yoga Alliance certified.
Yes. But then, how do you get insurance?
Right.
And that's what the Yoga Alliance offers, but there's not much of a policing program in my experience with the Yoga Alliance. This is controversial in the yoga community, by the way. Yeah, if you go in and find some yoga therapy groups and ask them, what is yoga therapy? And they're like arguing with each other because primarily what you're using is a brand name. Individual states in the United States, most, not all. I think Vermont, the last I heard, Minnesota, California, those are the ones I know of. I'm almost positive they don't have state regulation. They might be by city or county or something. Those three states. The rest of the states have massage regulation that dictates some of those things. As an educator, NCBTMB certification as a provider allows me to jump certain loopholes to get into a certain state and teach and give continuing education credits. But with the Yoga Alliance, you don't need a license. There's no license to teach yoga in any state in the United States. There is no license. It doesn't exist.
Right.
And then that's where the problem is. I can teach therapists and they're like, this isn't massage. Then I can teach yoga teachers and they're like, I don't understand. This isn't yoga. And I'm like, it's next level pain relief. And they're like, well, do we need a license? And I'm like, I don't know. Get a lawyer. I can help you talk to my lawyer to get a lawyer. Because it's like, one, is there a risk of harm with what I'm doing and teaching?
Always. There's a little slight risk, I guess.
Yeah, but massage insurance is $150 a year.
Yeah.
Pretty low risk of harm. There is potential always, but the issue is it's really using a brand name. You'll get into debates about certification, and like I had a conversation with Kristen, and she said the students were asking about like how do they get certified. The students still kind of want me to certify them in Thai massage, and I'm like, I don't know in Thai massage, and they're like, what? Like, no, I want to be certified, and I'm like, guys, I'm going to roll out a certification package so you can use the brand name of Next Level Pain Relief. You want to be a Next Level Pain Relief specialist? You want to be NLPR certified? Ooh, I could do that? And I'm like, yes, I'm working on it. The issue is the NCBTMB has a trademark that I can't infringe on. The Yoga Alliance has a trademark that I can't infringe on. Next Level Pain Relief has a trademark that you can't infringe on. And it's like, if you want to call it Thai massage or something else, mat-based bodywork, it's great. Like, I don't fight that. The students are often confused when they feel my lack of resistance. I'm like, no, it's not my job to make sure everyone wants to wear Nikes. My job is to build a brand that is so big, so strong, and looked upon so favorably. Why wouldn't you want to wear Nikes? Like, you could still wear Reebok or Adidas. Everybody knows they sell shoes and footwear. But in a brand battle, my goal is to build a bigger, better brand that's more beneficial to the students, allows them to get clients effortlessly, and you keep building. The challenges in relation to certification and licensure will continue, but in my experience, students don't really want to talk about it, and it seems like a lot of lawyery kind of stuff that they're not particularly interested in until I use 4 cameras to teach yoga teachers across the United States, and they start doing the work and calling it Next Level Pain Relief, and then all the massage therapists get angry because people without licenses are doing the work, and I'm like, why? You don't need a license to do Next Level Pain Relief. What?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I see the word massage as an impediment at this point. It's confusing the population. Like, I'm probably, when I get into the new studio, I'm probably going to run ads from a personal practice, and there will likely be an ad where I'm like, do you want a massage? Good, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Do you want softened lighting, Enya and Wales? Good. Go somewhere else. Do you want somebody to rub you naked with oils? Good. Go somewhere else. Now, if you're still here and you're in chronic pain, contact me. Now, if I run that ad, who's going to bitch?
Massage therapist.
Why?
Because it's making fun of the industry.
Oh, pobrecito, here's the world's smallest violin playing for your ass. It's trying to target clients, and the brand is like, I'm a Nike guy. I love Nike, but I was a kid in middle school when Jordan was in his prime. Nikes was a big deal. I don't think I ever had a pair of Jordans, but I did have Nikes. I love their brand. Just do it. Like, there was something about their tone that like spoke to me more than Reebok and Adidas. And the whole deal is, can you do that within the massage industry? Can you make a preferred brand that the therapist would be proud to wear a t-shirt and say, I'm part of this tribe?
Yeah.
These are my people. They're the people working on the mat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it could be done, but for most people, they're like, this dude's crazy. There's no way. And it's like, well, everybody's crazy until they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certifications, like once you go into another country, which is Canada, so I don't know. To give you an idea, guys, when we talk about regulation, can I go to Waterloo and have classes?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, it's another country. I don't. Yeah. Like, can I go to Mexico? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the states in Mexico and their rules regarding massage regulation, much less education. Like, I don't know. Like, there's all these borders that I completely avoid because of the internet. I could just stream information globally. Here you go. Here's some information. And they're like, no, we want CE credit. And it's like that CE credit is like somewhat monitored and controlled and structured. I even have to change curriculum to fit the CEs. Not giving students what I think they need, giving students what the state boards and the regulatory organizations say it has to be packaged this way. Yeah.
Well, if you come here, that's not the case. We used to do it that way. We used to have, each course is worth X amount of CE hours, whatever, but they changed that requirement now. So as long as it fits within our scope of practice, then we can use it to maintain our license.
So can they get CEs to like renew their license?
We don't need that anymore.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
So we used to have to get I can't even remember how many CEs it was, but now we have goals instead, like learning goals, and you can pick minimum 2, maximum however many you want, basically. And then you submit it your goals, and then you submit partway through each year, how far have you gotten on these goals? What have you done to meet these goals? And so it's less about how many hours do you have and more about what are you doing to meet your learning goals. So interesting. Yeah, I prefer it over, okay, I have to get 60 hours of Con Ed, right? Because I'm a learner, I like to plan my learning. I like to plan what I want to do over the 2-year cycle, so.
Yeah, some people think I prefer the regulation because it forces students to get CE credits. And I'm like no. Continuing education credits is a necessary evil. I just want students who want to learn. Why do we go through all this regulatory red tape in a third party? Why don't I just teach you? No, but we like the status and the prestige that the regulators and license and school give you. Yeah, I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm basically an anarchist, guys. I don't give a shit about any of that. Hey, we have this thing called the internet and global distribution. Let's go. What's massage regulation in the Philippines?
No idea.
I don't know. But they never think about it because it's I'm in Georgia. I just deal with what my state has to deal with. But when you're like me and you're teaching online, it starts to get real weird real fast. And before I make big moves, this is what my lawyer told me. He's like, Robert, I know you're a guy with ethics, and I know you're doing upstanding good stuff. Before you make big moves, just write me an email. He's like, it's a whole lot cheaper to prevent a problem than for you to get in it and try to help me get you out. He's like, I know you're looking for an angle, but it's like, just before you make big moves, just contact me.
Yeah.
The process of teaching the information, how many videos would I have to make? How many times does the public have to see it or therapists see it to actually believe it? It's weird for all the work I've done for all the years. I've been working as a therapist for 22 years, and I still feel like I'm just getting started. Like, it's like dripping water in a bucket, and it won't quite overflow. At first, you're excited. Ooh, we're gonna put water in the bucket. It's awesome then, but then when the tension won't break, and you're like, this takes forever. Why, God? Why won't it just explode? It's like a snowball. You just want it to roll down the hill on its own, and it's like, I'm still at its base level grinding. I'm still working to get students involved and get the public on board. And if the work is a big broad spectrum, if the student comes in here, they're like, dude, what the hell are you doing here? And I'm like, continuing to develop next level pain relief. And they're like, dude, this doesn't conform to what I was taught in massage school. And I'm like, I'm called continuing education for a reason. Like, I never intend to stop.
Yeah.
Like, what's the goal? And the students don't want to say, well, it's to conform. It's to be accepted and looked upon, esteemed by other massage therapists in my school and the regulatory establishment. I'm like, why don't we just go make people better? And they're like, what? But no, if this was effective, they would teach it in school. And I'm like, I mean, did Blockbuster think Netflix was going to win?
Clearly they didn't, since they're bankrupt now.
I mean, there's some fundamental issues here, and even apprenticeship, teaching through the cameras live, one-on-one. Once I hit it, it's hard for the business to go backwards. Like, teaching in person seems like a very ineffective way of dealing with information distribution. Well, no, but we have to learn in person. And I'm like, why? Okay, let's get 10 people in every city, every major city in the United States. We'll even exclude Canada, just because we'll be anti-Canadian just for a minute, just to make the Canadians angry. So every major city in the United States, 10 massage therapists get together in a room, and they take my live stream feed, and I stream to everyone simultaneously, and I get 10,000 students to work in groups on each other, giving feedback, following along. And they're like, no. And I'm like, you don't want me to teach 10,000 people? But no,
I would.
no, but it's got to be in person. And I'm like, oh, you need Robert's Magic Touch?
Is that website up, by the way?
robertsmagictouch.com. Well, I'm having trouble with my real websites. My mock websites are in the wings, The issue is, it's not just mat-based work, it was the distribution process. Yeah. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was like, not only was I willing to teach something that was completely against the grain, but I was willing to just go to the internet, just give the information away. It's like they don't know how to deal with that because, well, no, this is supposed to be a trade secret only for these elite licensed professionals. And I'm like, why don't we just go help people?
Yeah.
Once a student realizes, okay, I could learn via live stream, but to do it live, I have to be there at a certain time. The information is there. Do students get together with their massage therapist colleagues, go into my vault and like watch video and just replicate what I'm doing on camera?
No.
Why?
A time thing, I would think. It's like scheduling. I mean, that's why I didn't do it. I just like watched your videos and then had a client come in and was like, okay, we're going to try this. Let's do it.
And you're an early adopter. You're more willing to experiment. Most of the students, and I mean this across the board with humanity, they want to see other people doing it successfully first.
Yeah, for sure.
And then once they've seen that, they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll try it. It's not gone or dead. It's just, I really think that the information distribution across the internet, my sort of anarchist leanings towards just giving people the data was the thing that broke it. It was like, mat base is one thing, suspension is another, crazy body work. But the camera is the thing that like people are just like, no, man, this is nuts. Like if this was real, you'd be in Massage Magazine. I'm like, so you want me to be on the cover of Massage Magazine supporting something that most massage therapists tell me isn't massage?
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to have the debate about licensure and regulation, but I don't think the students understand what's actually going on. And they're like, what do you mean?
Funny.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It's just funny to me. Like, clients ask me, like when I get new clients, it's like, what brought you into this? How did you learn this? What did you do? And so I explain about you and like how I heard about you and how we learn. And they're just like, oh, that's really cool. Like you can do this. And, he's in Texas, you're in Waterloo, and you can just, do it. It makes perfect sense to them. And then you talk to some massage therapist, like, I need hands-on. And it's like, until last August, I didn't even know what this kind of massage felt like because nobody does this near me. It wasn't until and our massage therapist in Buffalo was like, I know where you are. Let's connect. I'm like, okay, cool. And she came to me and we traded massages. That was the first time I ever experienced like your Robert's magic touch, right? And then I don't even know if she's even has seen you in person or if she just learned it online, right? So, like, I don't know. Like, it was the best massage I ever had. And she learned it online. I've heard that comment from clients. Best massage I've ever had. And I learned it online, right?
I think primarily the massage culture, I think where it comes from, and nobody's debating that hands-on isn't best. Of course it is. Of course it is. I can teach it faster. You'll pick it up faster. It's like, it's easier to figure out pressure, sensitivity. That's a big one. Pressure, leverage, angle.
For sure.
But for those who can learn in this format, why wouldn't I deliver the information?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's fine. Like I still teach in person. I want to have in-person classes that are full. It's just that once you start dealing with geography, it's very expensive to travel.
Right.
What happens is people watch video and do some stuff and then come train in person. And some people come train in person and then just continue to supplement online. The entire curriculum is structured in a way that it's like, it's just allowing the students to pick up what they need as they need it to keep building in whatever way works. Well, I can't afford it. Subscription is $7 a month.
Yeah.
No, but I can't learn online. Okay, but that phrase, in my opinion, is taught to them in massage schools.
Right.
That's where no other industry. Like I went to it's the Internet Marketing Party here in Austin. If you're a business person dealing with internet related marketing, by the way, you should look it up. The Internet Marketing Party. I went to it, and there's people, man, and they're talking about SaaS, and I'm like, I was like, what is SaaS? And they're like, software as a service. And I'm like, oh, it's got an acronym. Okay. And then these geeks and coders and programmers, and they're doing all kinds of internet-based this and that and email marketing and like all this stuff I deal with all the time, but I'm kind of anomaly in the massage industry. They all ask me, what do you do? I'm like, I'm involved in education. I teach from 4 cameras, live stream on the internet. And they go, well, I mean, yeah. They're like, what industry? I'm like, massage education. And they're like, what? Oh my God. Dude, you're teaching massage related stuff online on the internet? Oh my, like it blows their mind. Not because of 4 cameras and streaming. It blows their mind because of the industry I've applied it in.
Right.
They've never heard of anybody. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's like a flip, right? But
Yeah.
the reason the therapist says I can't learn online is, in my opinion, massage educators in schools are deeply afraid of the internet, and they are afraid of letting go of control because they're afraid that somebody will start listening to people like me on cameras instead of maintaining control over what they believe massage curriculum is. Why aren't massage school owners supplementing with digital curriculum? Supplementing, not replacing, supplementing.
Good question.
And they're like, well, I know what they'll say. It's too expensive. It's too time consuming. We're busy running a school. We don't have time. And I'm like, guys, I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know if you're going to have a school in 10 years. Like, what I get is, no, you should open a school. And I'm like, I have a school. They're like, no, like you should open a school. And I'm like, I have a school. It's on the internet. There's 1,000 hours of curriculum inside it right now. You could see every class I've taught since 2017. No, like a real school. I'm like, I have a real school. You can study with me for 100 years for the same fee you paid for massage school. Like, all of the materials, workbooks, DVDs, subscription, YouTube videos, social media stuff, it's a supplement. It's not designed to not have in-person students. It's just, what do I do with the students in Waterloo? Right. Do you prefer that we go back in time and I remove your capacity to study with me?
No.
It's like, it's a supplement.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that Texas blocks what I'm doing online because Texas doesn't allow hands-on instruction online.
Yeah.
And if I ask students, why? Why is that? Well, I don't know. We can't learn online. And I'm like, guys, the state of Texas doesn't allow hands-on instruction online because I'd give away CE credit to every Texas massage therapist forever, for the rest of my life, for free until I'm dead. Massage schools don't want that kind of competition. And they're like, what? No, but, and I'm like, they're like, but if you're giving it away for free, how are you going to make money? I'm like, I'll sell it to the other 49 states.
Yeah.
They think I'm running a business I ain't running. They think it's going a certain way. And I'm like, if you have my mentality and you're trying to support people and give them materials and give them education, do you fight the internet or do you embrace it?
We embrace it. That's
yeah. Like I'd go to a facility, block, can't record. Go to a facility, block, can't charge that fee. Go to a facility, block, can't do mat work. And I'm like, God damn it. Does everybody just spend their time like fighting against what I'm doing? Like, this is effective. What is the fucking problem? And I wound up squeezed out on the internet and I went, oh, man, can I talk to Ed Snowden? Like, this is a wonderful distribution model. If you're an anarchist who doesn't generally like rules, the internet is a wonderful place. It's a supplement. That's all. Yeah. It's like, well, I don't like the internet. People can just say whatever they want to say. And I'm like, yeah, but why don't you take advantage of the fact that the internet allows you to say whatever you want to say?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You had something you were about to say?
Oh, I was just going to say the teaching online thing works because, like, I've learned from you, but I still am going to come and see you at some point.
Yeah.
and work with you in person just because I can. But I didn't have to, like, I spent X amount of dollars on my online apprenticeship, and then, and then I get to see you kind of almost, I don't know, just to make sure in my head that I'm doing it right. And so I get that little in-person aspect too, but I didn't have to spend, it costs, flights I've been watching to Texas, to Austin, are between $600 and $900, right? And so I don't have to go every month and spend $900 plus your fee to come and learn from you in person. I could spend, what was it, $250 a month for my apprenticeship. So
yeah, there's an interesting thing in my head, because I realized that not necessarily the work that I'm teaching, but the way that I'm distributing information. If you're a school owner who's not supplementing digitally, I don't have a good prognosis. Let's put it that way. And if you're a continuing education provider who's not supplementing digitally, I'm like, the future is not looking good, bro.
But like, what has COVID taught us? I don't know. Things here were very different than things in Texas, as far as like locking down and masking and all that other jazz. But like, we were like forced to pivot so much online. Like, I know the massage schools here, like my old massage school, they just like all of their classes just went online. And they had to adopt that. And then, you had to, come in and do the in-person stuff for like the hands-on whatever hours. It still blows my mind that, okay, COVID's over. If things are back to kind of normal, why are we still doing things the old-fashioned way, right? Like, why can't you say, okay, like, let's, I'm a single mom who wants to go back to school and be a massage therapist, but I have to work and take care of my kids. How can you not set your school up so that I can take the, stuff online that I can do online and then do the in-person stuff in person? And it just, saves time, saves, effort. It opens up the industry to more people. Like, I don't know. It just seems silly to me that we're okay. Well, let's go back to brick and mortar.
I think some of it is fear. Everybody dislikes change. How do I feel about change? Dude, Facebook just updates some little thing and I'm like, where's my thing? Mm-hmm. God damn it. Why do you keep changing this? Like, I'm not impervious to that, but is it a good business model? Yeah. It's like, I hate social media. It keeps changing. And I'm like, dude, it's 2024. What does 2034 look like? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even just look at it from like, I'm old, but like the advent of like YouTube, 2008 it came out, right? Like it was, my son watches like exclusively entertainers on YouTube. Yep. Like he barely watches TV. It's all YouTube influencers or whatever at 8 years old. Like that's his form of entertainment.
Yeah. As a tribe, YouTubers became its own entity.
Yeah.
You'd ask a kid, what do you want to be? I want to be a YouTuber.
A YouTuber.
Like it's like its own, thing.
Yeah.
It's not denying in-person instruction at all. I just have much loftier goals. And I literally go, what about Belgium? Mm. France.
Yeah.
Laos. Cambodia. Mm-hmm. As long as people have internet access, why do I not want to help people?
Yeah.
And that's a very different thing than like being a local CE provider in Texas, providing CE classes to local therapists. Yeah. It's like everybody speaks English and I come in speaking Arabic. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's all well and good as an information delivery system. And it probably has certain features that make it expedient to communicate certain concepts and ideas that don't convey extremely well in English. Mm-hmm. But if the therapists don't speak it, doesn't go anywhere. It's just a bunch of sound that doesn't have, context. Yeah. I still teach, like you go to the shallow end of the pool. I still teach the table work. I get this all the time. They'll see table videos and they're like, don't you do table work? And I'm like, I wrote a table time massage workbook. I made a table time massage DVD. I teach a table time massage class, and you can see 20 goddamn copies of that class in the vault. I have
Mhm.
next level pain relief curriculum. It's table and mat.
Yeah.
And it's like, but they're put off because, well, this isn't for me. It's on a mat. Where's the table?
Mhm.
We have a long way to go. And hopefully, and then I'll feel depressed about this. Hopefully by the time I'm dead, it'll start to take off.
Yeah.
Like my hopes and aspirations. Listen, my original teacher, I took the class. The shit was so good. I was like, this will take over America in 2 years.
Mhm.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, ain't no taking over America. America has some deeply seated like leanings, and to make it even more pertinent to like culture, soccer is the world's most renowned sport. How is soccer in the United States?
Oh, like it's nothing.
Culture. It's just culture. It's like, and to make it even more fun, it's like, oh shit, soccer is big everywhere else, and you're using your legs and feet to
Mhm.
manipulate the ball.
Yeah.
It's not like football where you catch with your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you see for the future of your practice? You want to start teaching? I heard that.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit last time. I see teaching. I think I see working less and and like maybe teaching more, traveling. Like I can't even remember who I was talking to. It was a client or another RMT, but just like I had someone who saw one of your videos who's in Wasaga Beach, Ontario, which is about 2 hours away from me, 2.5 hours away from me. And she saw you, found me. I'm closer. She's coming to see me in a couple of weeks. And and I thought, like, how cool would it be to like have, because our Ontario is huge, like it's the biggest province in Canada, I think. How cool would it be to be like, okay, it's summer's short here, like let's go up north somewhere and just off, like where they have limited amount of massage therapists, find a place and like travel with my family and be like, okay, I'm gonna like work a couple hours a day and just treat people, offer it, and then I get to see like Thunder Bay, Ontario or whatever, like places where I wouldn't necessarily go. There's a few unregulated provinces that I could go to, like Alberta, which has like the mountains and Lake Louise and all those beautiful things. Like I could go and work there for, and go on vacation. Like I think, I don't know. I just started thinking about the possibilities. I could teach there. I could, do whatever there.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk more about it and like what the flow is.
Yeah.
I can support some of it at a distance, but it kind of leads back to that conversation about advertising.
Yeah.
And then eventually, we're not quite there yet, but eventually there needs to be a more refined like teacher training program. And
Right.
I think teacher training program looks like everything has grown to the point where I'm like, okay, I have to continue focus on and teaching the teachers and nurturing the teacher training program to get more people out and like focus a little bit less on like seeing individual clients or teaching individual classes. I'm up to the challenge. It's just layer after layer. And I think Kristen taught intro Thai and she came back and she's like, it's not enough time. And I'm like, Kristen, you can't teach them the full breadth and scope of what we're doing in 3 days. These therapists don't know how to use their legs and feet.
Yep. Yep.
It doesn't happen overnight. It just, you supplement, keep teaching. Supplement, keep teaching. Supplement, you just keep going.
Yeah.
It's super interesting because I think there's more social proof if there's more therapists doing it. There's more social proof when there's more therapists making video of it. There's more social proof when there's more teachers and more areas, And what I'm super interested in, that little neurospicy bit, what happens when I'm no longer available?
Like when you're dead or when you're too busy to be available?
Well, dead, yes, but yeah. You're too busy. What happens when you're no longer available?
Like sorry, I'm confused with the question. When I'm no longer available, when you're no longer available?
I'm doing a teacher training program, so I'm less available. I'm working with you. I'm working with other teachers. You mean I can't come get a session with Robert? And I'm like, something interesting happened, and I haven't gone through all the video. Kristen recorded her class from 4 camera angles, and I flipped on one of the videos because I was doing some basic editing to alter some of the audio and video to make it pop a little, make the volume level great, and a little bit of color grading, some slight color changes to make it really good for the camera. And in one of the videos I pulled up, they were working, and the class was like, so what's Robert like? Does Robert look like he does in the photos in the workbook? And I'm like, what the fuck are y'all? Like, I'm down the road. But the thing is, it adds a weird prestige or status when I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even in the class. Yeah. And Kristen's like, no, but they really wanted to meet you. And I'm like, I mean, they can call me. Like, what? Okay, you want to come over for coffee or what? Like, I'm not blocking. I just think that there's something about that. Like, I don't call Megan the Stallion and go, Megan, I saw you in a video and you looked wonderful and you're dancing. I would love for you to come perform for me. It's like, it's Megan. She's busy. She did what? Like, you'd have to pay her $1 million to get a private show, I guess, in your living room. Well, you know what I mean? It's like that sort of thing, but in massage. What happens when you are no longer available? There's a weird sort of fame that comes over time, and it's super strange to me to encounter some of the beginnings of it and then realize that the bulk of my career, I was fired from massage facilities, talked down on by students, made massage therapists angry, like bucking the status quo. And then it's like, oh, well, he's successful. Whatever that means.
Yeah.
It's, people love, they can see you on social media. They've seen Instagram posts, they follow you. But to take a class with you in person, I met Michelle Ratz McGuire. No, you don't understand. I got a session with Michelle Ratz McGuire. It's like, that's a weird thing. You're like, well, yeah, I work in my studio.
Yeah. That happened at the Canadian Massage Conference. A few people that were there, they're like, oh, I know you. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. I mean, not weird. We just like, oh yeah, I know you too from your videos and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I guess I'm going to let you go here. You got any closing thoughts?
Yeah, like, I think just put your damn phone on your $30 Walmart thing holder and just record and see what it gets you. I don't know. That's like, I was resistant to it as well for a long time. And then I was like, okay, gotta do it. And I did, and it worked out. So you don't know if you don't try. Yeah.
Nothing transformed my business the way the cameras did. Not even close. Yeah. All right. Tell people again where they could find you on social media.
I'm at rmt.michelle on Facebook and Instagram, and my website is rmtmichelle.com.
Awesome. Well, listen, Michelle, we'll talk again soon. We'll chat about like future engagements like this. I like having the sort of camaraderie the way I do with Kristen, like talking shop about the industry and what we're doing and teaching. You guys at home, thank you for tuning into the podcast. You look up Michelle if you're in Ontario, want to go up there to Waterloo and get a session with her or take a class. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast, and I'll see you again soon on Robert Gardner Wellness.